Jerry.
John, who does it look like you might have back this week? I understand Colton Miller and Maurice Hurst were out there.
They're out here. We're still in the process of figuring it out, but they were out here today. That was a good step in the right direction.
John, what have you thought about Brandon Parker's play the last couple of weeks? And when Colton is able to come back, is Brandon an option to move over to the right side and start over there?
We're weighing all the options, yes. And Brandon has gotten better. It's his third year now in the system, and you know that jump from a small school to the NFL is big. And he started a lot of games as a rookie, but we're weighing all the options and determining everyone's health right now.
John, Sam Gordon here, Las Vegas Review-Journal. Analytics and data have certainly changed the world. There's no doubt about that, and obviously sports. How much have analytics changed the NFL, and how much do you incorporate analytical data in the stuff that you guys do with the Raiders?
Well, I don't know about changing the world, not my world, but it has changed certainly a lot of things. We take a lot of pride in being very analytical here. We use a lot of statistical data, tendencies. Got a lot of respect for the percentages of blitz on 2nd and 1 to 6, 3rd and 5 to 10. We take analytics as far as we can, but at the end of the day, there's still a lot of human error that I continually make. But we try to use as much help as we can get, and we do take pride in studying all the data that we can get.
John, just wondering if there was any update on Corey Littleton, and also along the lines of analytics, is there a way to quantify it all, or do you notice at all the impact that Henry Ruggs is having, even though it might not show up necessarily in individual numbers, but how he impacts a game?
You know, I don't know how to quantify it, but you'd have to ask the other team's coaches. You know, we're not getting defended like we've been defended in the past. Stats are important to some people. Winning is more important to others. We're interested in winning. I don't know how many passes Cliff Branch caught when he was a rookie, but that'd be a good story for you guys to look into. The threat of Ruggs is prevalent when he's on the grass. And we're going to get him the ball more, but right now we're more interested in trying to find ways to win than try to fuel somebody's stats. We're really pleased with Ruggs and excited about him being here.
John, in the first game against Kansas City, you were pretty aggressive offensively, throwing it deep a few times, going for it on 4th down a couple times. Is that something you have to do against an offense when you're going up against an offense that's that high powered, that you have to be a little more aggressive as a play caller?
Well, they're a great team. They're the world champions, and you got to do whatever it takes to try to win the game. And that particular day, it just seemed to be, a shootout. There's no guarantee we're going to make a first down this time. So we'll see how it goes, and we'll try to put our players in the best position to win.
Coach, the league announced this morning that all teams are going to have to go into intensive protocols starting Saturday, just for the rest of the season. How much does that change what you guys do when the enhanced protocols are in place?
Well, obviously the world is in a state right now where, that's a great decision, but it impacts everything, just like it impacts this press conference. You do a lot of Zoom meetings, and you got to adapt to the rules, and you got to keep safety paramount, and that's what we're doing. And I tip my hat to the leadership for making all the teams abide by that.
Hey, John, if Joyner can't go on Sunday, would Lawson be the guy? And what do you see from Devin this season so far?
Yeah, we're not going to make any predictions about that. We like Lawson. He can play nickel. He can play corner. He can do a lot of things in our secondary, but we're not going to count Joyner out. We think he's going to be ready to go.
John, whether or not Corey Littleton is able to suit up or not, you said that Morris coming off of his greatest game as a Raider. Are you excited to see what he can do going up against a tight end such as Travis Kelce?
Yeah, we need help against Kelce. We got to do better. But like I said, I think after the game, no doubt that was Nick Morrow's best game. That was a good game for any linebacker standards. If you go back and watch just Nick Morrow in that game, he made a lot of impact plays, sideline to sideline, effort plays. He did a great job. But we're going to have to be a lot better than we have been against Kelsey in the past. He seemed to have dominated against us, and he's dominated the league. So he's a great presence out there, and they know how to use them, and they've got a lot of other weapons that we got to worry about.
John, generally speaking, how different is it when you face teams the second time around?
Well, it'll be different for us. You know, we're going to be different, and our roster's different. I'm sure they'll have some changes. I think it all depends on which team you're talking about. But when you play the Chiefs, you know you're going to get one hell of an opponent in all three phases. And if you're not ready to go, you'll get your block knocked off. We know that.
Hey, John, with Thanksgiving coming up next week and the weirdness that is 2020, is there anything you're a little more thankful for this time around?
I'm just thankful for, playing here, football. I'm thankful that I keep hearing that, someone's coming closer and closer to the cure for this virus. I'm just kind of happy that we're able to be together and play football and compete and hopefully bring a little joy to somebody out there. And I'm just thankful for my family, thankful for the God upstairs, and thankful for the opportunities that he's given us.
Do two more, Chris, then Paul.
Hey, John, has Devontae kind of maybe exceeded expectations, especially in the last 2 weeks? He's played really well, but when you brought him in, did you kind of foresee this with Devontae backing up Jacobs?
We like Booker coming out of Utah, and a lot of teams did. And I remember when Wheatley came in here several years ago, he had been a highly touted back, and he didn't work out in Miami and the Giants. And sometimes a change of scenery can be the right thing. And, this is the Raiders. And, we've rejuvenated some players from other teams before, and we'd like to take pride in doing that again. But I think he's in a great role for him right now. He's a complimentary back to Josh Jacobs. Our offensive line is playing good, and the quarterback is playing great also. So that helps anybody thrive.
Hey, John, speaking of your quarterback, a lot has been made already about how much more comfortable he looks being in the third year in your system. But when you look at him and being in a new city, being in a new town, and again, these are weird times. You can't really go out and be in the community and things like that. What do you see from Derek in terms of being kind of the face of Las Vegas and how, as a franchise quarterback, he kind of just embodies what the city is about at this point?
Yeah, I think it's great. He's also my neighbor, Paul, so I do get to see him pulling in and out of his driveway, but, he's all business. He's on a mission right now to prove that, he can be one of the top, if not the best in football. That's what he's after. Whether you agree or disagree, that's not my problem, but he really is on a mission to be great. And I think he's on a mission to deliver his leadership, his playmaking, and his day-to-day consistency to this team. And if you could see him here every day in these circumstances, you'd all be impressed with what he represents. And I couldn't be happier having him as my quarterback.
Great. Thank you, everyone.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Gary?
Hey, Derek, Jerry McDonald. The classic quarterback audible that people see is when it's like third and short, and then you switch to a pass and you throw it and you strike a deep one. But I'm curious as to how often you switch from pass to run, or how often you switch from one run to another run based on what you see, and how much you enjoy that part of the game now with in an area where there's really no statistical payoff, but there is for the team.
Oh, yeah, I take from the run game to the pass game, I take a lot of joy in just controlling and choking out the whole situation, Jerry, without getting too much into our percentages and how much I do it and that kind of stuff. There are times where we do things like that, and I absolutely love it, man. I dreamed of that, watching Peyton Manning play. He's just in total command of the football game. When the offense went out there, the coaches knew, hey, we're going to run good plays into good looks, and it's a cool feeling for me to be able to do that kind of stuff as well, at this point in my career. And so I'm enjoying it. I'm having a great time doing it. And again, like we've all talked about, checking from a run to this run or a better run, or sniffing something out that they don't think you'll see and checking to a run check and things like that. I get more joy out of that sometimes than some of the touchdowns. I'll come to the sideline and start getting fired up with Coach Cable about it, you know. And so I'm just here to do my job at the highest level I can. And I plan on doing that all the time at a very high level. And I hold myself to a standard sometimes that it's hard to achieve, but when you do achieve it, you know you're on the right track.
Hey, Derek, 2020 has obviously been a crazy year, and with Thanksgiving coming up next week, I'm just wondering if there's anything you're extra thankful for this time around.
Yeah, obviously my health, my family's health, you know, my wife's health, our baby, you know, who will be here soon, and my kids, obviously, my family that's not with me. You know, I'm thankful that even during this crazy time we can play football and have something to do, you know, because there's a lot of people not in work, you know, right now. They can't go to their jobs, they can't do certain things at some schools, whatever, around the country. And I can only imagine how I get, you know, after just a few days inside the house. You know, I need to get outside, I need to go do something, I want to get back to work, you know. And so I'm thankful that we get to play football, you know, because there's a lot of people right now that would love to be back in work and things like that. So I'm thankful for a lot of things, and I appreciate you asking that question, because this is a year where everyone, you know, looks at 2020, oh my goodness this, oh my goodness that, and I'm trying to look at it as 2020 is my year. You know, 2020 is my family's year of health and of joy and excitement and peace and all those kind of things. And so just trying to be positive through it, but I'm thankful for a lot of things, especially with my family.
Derek, when you're going up against a team that's got such a high-powered offense like Kansas City has, how do you balance the, you know, thing, whether, you know, try to be aggressive to try to keep up with them versus staying in your own game?
Yeah, you know, I just kind of, in my 3 years with Coach Gruden, kind of just let him do that. You know, I know based on what plays he's calling, what he's thinking. You know, I know if there's a certain route, whether it's a clear route or whether it's a route he wants me to throw, you know. And we're just on such a different level, just such a different page of when he's calling a play, it's not just calling a play so I can just chuck it to whoever. He's calling plays for reasons and with a purpose. And us being on that same page and growing together in that way has really helped us and led to that, to where I can just really lean on him and his play calling to kind of push me in that direction. And then he can trust me when he calls something. He knows what I'm looking for if we get the right looks.
Go ahead, Levi.
Derek, after the game on Sunday, you said that the biggest thing that you've been proud about the team is the fact that you've proven that you can win in the shootout, or you can ground and pound it, either or. After the past couple of weeks of really running the ball very efficiently, are you equipped for another shootout with Patrick Mahomes on Sunday, potentially passing the ball a little bit more than you have recently?
I mean, yeah. I mean, if we have to, you know, I'll run the triple option. You know, I've joked with Coach Cable. I was like, hey, if we're gonna run the ball, let me get a quarterback power or two. You know, back in my Fresno days, give me some of those plays. But if we have to do that to win, awesome. If we don't, awesome. You know, again, the numbers, the accolades, all those kind of things, those things come and all that kind of stuff. But again, there's a certain level each time a play is called, whether it's a run or a pass. I have a job to do. And if I'm doing that at the highest level possible, I'm helping my team win. And so whatever that looks like, that's what it'll look like. Now, there's been times where, not, you know, against the Chiefs where it's been shootouts. You know, I've done it against Alex, you know, with Patrick. And there's been games like that. There's also times where, you know, the running game is there. So it just really depends. You know, whatever we have to do to win, that's what I'm ready to do.
Hey, Derek, can I ask you a little bit about, you know, the wheels on the bus go round and round? It's been kind of a big story in Kansas City, but it's kind of fun when you have a rivalry and there's a little added extra juice, I guess. The Kansas City media making a big deal of the supposed victory lap and all that. Is it kind of, I don't know, in a weird way, kind of fun having something like that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, with rivalries, I'm sure there's 100 stories out there that none of them are true, you know. And then some of them are for, like, weird reasons, or someone gets mad at something. That's why I don't like texting. I like to FaceTime so I can really gauge what really happened, you know. Sometimes you can read through some stuff, but if that's what they want to get all excited about, awesome. Like, if they did it to us, awesome. Like, I'm still gonna work my tail off. I'm still going to go, to watch my film. I'm still going to show up for the game just like I always do, ready to play. Like, I don't need anything added. I've had people say crazier things about me than driving a bus around a stadium, and you still just show up and play the game. You know what I mean? So if they want to get excited about it, awesome. They can get excited about it, man. I'm just going to keep doing my process and play football.
Derek, what do you think the biggest reason was that you guys were able to have the success that you did last time around against the Chiefs?
Sorry, what was that?
What do you think was the biggest reason that you guys were able to have the offensive success that you had last time against the Chiefs?
Everyone just did their job. It sounds so cliche. It sounds so Coach Belichick, right? Do your job, right? But everyone just did their job, right? If there was a blitz pickup, we picked up the blitz, If there was a route someone needed to win on, they went on that route. And, I'm sure if you're them, they go back and look at the film, you can kind of gauge what they're probably thinking and gauge what they're probably saying to their grade. Hey, if we did this or that, then we win this game, and how do we combat that? It's a chess match, especially when you play someone for the second time. Things, they try and show you one thing and make it completely different. Or, that's the pro football in my 7 years playing in the division. But they'll have something for us. They'll have some wrinkles for us and all that kind of stuff. But I'm just into executing, man. I don't get all caught up in the stuff, so to speak, or what we did last time. None of that matters now, right? We just, we're going to play a totally new game, come Sunday night. And so it is what it is. Again, stuff that happened before, yeah, we won the game, but this is a totally different game. I've played games where we've scored 40 against somebody, played the same team and scored 13 or something like that. It just, it happens, but you don't plan on that. We plan on going out and playing good football, but the games, each time you play somebody, are always different.
Two more, Sam and then Willie.
Hey, Derek, Sam Gordon here, Las Vegas Review-Journal. Analytics and advanced data have certainly changed the way football is played and coached in 2020. Just how much do you familiarize yourself with some of the advanced data, or do you leave that to the coaches and the staff to implement those kind of things?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've always had, some in-depth reviews, that we go through as an offense, that I'm intrigued with, different what do you call them, tendencies and things like that, all that kind of stuff. But I don't get too much into it, man. I'm old school, man. I watch the film, I see what I see, and I've learned it that way, so I trust my process that way, And so I can again, take something that I saw, 6 years ago and be like, oh yeah, that kind of looks like that, and judge it based off that. Oh yeah, I can throw that, or I can do that. I just I'm old school in that sense. I got to see it on the film. I got to watch it. Are there numbers and things that I use? Absolutely. With how advanced things are, it helps. But there are also some stuff out there that's a little bit of a reach. When it comes to real football stuff. But there are definitely a few things that definitely help, and obviously I'll keep them in my pocket, but there are some few things that absolutely help, but some of the other stuff is just kind of more for the fans to get excited and talk about.
Eric, if we can go back for a minute, piggyback on Cassie's question just about Thanksgiving. We take yourself back to your childhood with David and your boys, and as kids on Thanksgiving morning, maybe I know when I was a kid it was the Turkey Bowl, go out and play football, and then go home and watch. If you're not playing, as an NFL player, you've now achieved your dream, you're in the NFL. If you're not playing on that Thursday, is it still a tradition as a professional to gather around and watch? How important is NFL Thursday on Thanksgiving to the professional football player?
Oh yeah, growing up, either the Lions, the Packers, or the Cowboys, one of them are playing. You just grow up and one of those games is going to be on, right? And so, just in my short memory, but it's super important. The NFL football on a Thursday, that's what you turn on the TV while you eat, and then you take a nap and you catch the second half, or you catch the next game, or things like that. So they have multiple games now. I'm sure. I think they play 3 games now on Thanksgiving or something like that. But when I was growing up, there was 1 or 2 games on, and it was fun to watch. We'd go out real early and we'd play our Turkey Bowl game. I remember catching a nice little dig route from my brother Darren and turning around, and David was trying to take my head off, trying to pick on me, man. But it was the first down anyway. But yeah, I mean, you remember all those things growing up and having fun with that. And I'm sure people, and I hope that people get to have some good memories, this time around. I don't know what all the rules are in every state, but I know for me, family is important. Being around your family and being thankful, those things are important.
Thank you, everyone.
Appreciate it.
Go ahead, Jerry.
Jeff, you had your first Raiders-Chiefs experience at Arrowhead in Week 5. The rematch coming up. I'm just curious as to, even without a lot of fans in the stands, did you kind of pick up the vibe of a rivalry?
Yeah, no doubt. Just being a divisional team, that in itself is a rivalry. In Dallas we had our games that felt the same way, but this one felt very similar to those. Obviously they're a big team in the AFC that we're going to have to beat if we want to get to where we go. So that's even makes the game even more important. But you could definitely sense the rivalry between those two teams.
Hey Jeff, Sam Gordon here, Las Vegas Review-Journal. How did going to a Division II school prepare you for the NFL? What first off, coming out of high school, what were some of the challenges you experienced with your recruitment, and what experience did you get at Saginaw that prepared you for the NFL and have the career that you're able to have?
To answer the question about high school, I was a very highly recruited player. I played a lot of sports. I played soccer if I wasn't playing football, I was playing soccer, and I was actually probably more so heavily recruited for soccer. I always loved football. And I told myself, if I just had any opportunity, I was going to take it. And I was able to get, one scholarship offer to Saginaw Valley. And, to answer your first question, football is football, no matter what level you're playing. Obviously, the competition's a little different. Some of the players you're going against, all that kind of stuff, some of the coaches that you are being coached by, everything's different at the different levels. But at the end of the day, football is football. So if you can do the fundamental things, run, tackle, catch, block, you're going to have success no matter where you're at.
Hey, Jeff, congrats on the Player of the Week honors. Obviously, you guys had a huge game, turnovers on Sundays. Is that something where you can point to you guys doing X, Y, and Z right, and now you can replicate it and hopefully get more, or is that just maybe circumstances of that one individual game?
It's hard, man. Obviously every game is different. Every play within the game is different. I think the biggest thing is really just having a mindset for the football, understanding where those plays can be made, and doing your job, preparing during the week so that when you see something that you recognize, you can be there a half a step faster. And really in the NFL, it comes down to that. We're talking half steps, half seconds between making a play and not making the play. So I really think it's just, we've been emphasizing it a lot. I think, we've seen what can happen in a game. Turnovers make games really open up like that. And that's where you see these lopsided scores in the NFL. It's really hard to just blow a team out in the NFL without creating turnovers. So I think, we see what can happen when we're on the details, when we capitalize on those plays. So we're just going to continue emphasizing it and hopefully, carry over to these following games.
Yeah, Jeff, Coach Gruden was talking about the difficulties in dealing with Kelsey and the amount of success he's had against the Raiders over the years, and a lot of other teams, obviously. And it doesn't fall to one guy, but what have been your observations of playing against him and the challenge of trying to control him?
Yeah, first off, he's a really good athlete. He's a really good route runner. He's really, to go along with his athleticism, he's also a very savvy route runner. And, he's one of their favorite targets. And, their offense kind of revolves around a few players, and him being one of them. It's obvious when you just watch them play that Mahomes is very comfortable throwing him the ball. When plays break down, he looks downfield and then he looks to 87. So, he just presents a challenge. This league is filled with really good tight ends, and he's one of the top ones. So, excited for the challenge, but it doesn't really fall on one guy, like you said. It's a team effort, kind of containing their offense as a whole.
Thank you, everyone.
What the defense is coming at them with and getting us to the right play.
Raise your hands if you've got questions, guys. Go ahead, Cassie.
Hey Hunter, with Thanksgiving coming up next week and all the weirdness that has been 2020, is there anything you're extra thankful for this year?
Yeah, there's a lot to be thankful for. I know it's a crazy time, but I appreciate that question. Yeah, obviously my family. I have a baby girl coming in February. I have a great parents, but my wife is just someone who you don't get to hang out with many people, right? Especially right now, but she's someone I'm able to hang out with and go home and just appreciate her being there for me and doing everything she does for me. So there's way more to be thankful for than we kind of communicate right now. Just an odd time, but there's a lot definitely to be thankful for.
Go ahead, Omar.
Hey, Hunter, congratulations on the expected arrival.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. This is the third year in a row the Chiefs are getting the Raiders after their bye. I'm just curious, based on your experience last year, how much different they played the second time coming off their bye than they did earlier in the season when you played them.
Yeah, so I got hurt right before, so I wasn't able to play in the game, but being able to watch it on TV, sometimes you see some things that you don't get to see when you're playing. And yeah, they're definitely fresher. They look like they came out with a chip on their shoulder last year, and that's what we're expecting this year. They have a whole week and to get ready for us and to try some new things, and we were able to tackle them different ways than we previously had the first time we played them. And so being able to make some adjustments, and because they're going to show us some things we haven't seen, and so be able to just make adjustments on the fly.
Hey Hunter, wondering when you're going to go ahead and patent third and Renfrow, and what do you think, what does third and Renfrow mean to you when people talk about it and it becomes kind of a thing?
Yeah, it's kind of, it's definitely a credit to the way we control the tempo, the way we control the offense, how efficient we are. I think I get more credit than I deserve, or even, like I deserve, because a lot of the times it's 3rd and 2, because our offense does such a great job of moving the ball, being efficient, being able to run the ball, and getting those short yardages, so it's not a 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11. And so I definitely think that's a cool kind of little catchphrase, but it's undeserving at times because of how our offense plays and what of a good job everybody does, not just me.
Yeah, Hunter, you lost a lot of yards on punt returns the other day, but Gruden was talking about how good you are at it. I'm just curious, can you take me through a punt return, what you're thinking? I mean, obviously secure the ball first, and after that, what happens next?
Yeah, I haven't done it much. I wasn't able to do it much in college. We had a bunch of guys. Got Ray McLeod, who's killing it for the Steelers, played punt returner for us, and Artavis Scott, who's with the Texans now. But for me, I'm just sitting back there, and number one, you want to possess the ball because we have an offense that we feel like we can go score. And we don't really necessarily need the big play and special teams. We just need to possess the ball. And for me, it's just hitting those base hits, right? Just getting 5 yards, 10 yards every time, 10 yards every time, averaging a first down, and then the big ones will come. And it gives me a lot of confidence because of, y'all saw we had some penalties, but our front line does such a phenomenal job of giving me room to run. It's a lot easier when you catch the ball and you have 30 yards, kind of no one around you, rather than they're right on top of you, like some other teams. And so just sitting back there, possessing the ball, and then getting the home runs. Whenever you keep hitting base hits, they'll eventually come.
Yeah, Hunter, one more here. I guess you're going to be without a few defensive players this week, and apparently there might be even more going on a COVID list. I'm not asking you to comment on that, so to speak, as much as the whole. You had the game earlier with Tampa where you didn't have your offensive line all week. Do you come to work every day just focused on what you're doing, or does it ever go through your mind like, God, what could happen now?
Yeah, a little bit. We're doing everything we can, obviously, to be safe. But as someone, it's different when you have the O-line. We're a team, but kind of defense does their own thing, and offensively we do our own thing, and so you're not kind of distracted as much whenever they have some guys out. You maybe alter practice a little bit so you can give some guys some rest, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that not only we have to deal with. You know, the Chiefs have some guys out. It's just a revolving door, and you just never know. And it's hopefully everyone's safe, but it's interesting week to week just knowing who you got and who's going to step up. And I think that's the biggest thing. And I think that's something you can take from this is you have guys that step up. So you get to week 11, week 12, week 13, get in the playoffs. You got a right tackle that's played all year because you just have things that happen. You have backups that are able to get time, and so it can be a positive if you make it for sure.
Thank you, everyone. That'll be all for today.
Appreciate it.